Drink some water. I need some water before I do this. Alright, in this problem over here, we're going to look at the probability that a group chat is completely screwed over after an exam passes by, right? We want to determine, is it actually good for you to leave the group chat or not? Now let's read the problem. It says that in a population of 300 college students, the tight-lipped gene contains 2 alleles, right? So you have a wild type allele, which is the most common. Wild type is usually what you find in nature, right? And it's a recessive allele, though. So you gotta keep sure. And why are we saying it's recessive? Because it has a mutant type, right? It has a mutant type allele that's called loose-lipped. And this loose-lipped allele is actually dominant to our wild type allele. So what does that mean? Say you have a population that are all tight-lipped. If somebody becomes loose-lipped all of a sudden because they had a mutation in one of their alleles, now all of a sudden they're loose-lipped, right? If they had that loose-lipped allele, now their phenotype is completely loose-lipped and they'll spill out their beans, right? And this big L allele can be found once every 50 alleles in a starting population, right? Now you have also another gene, and it's called the think before you text gene, and it has a dominant smart allele denoted by big D and a recessive not so smart allele denoted by little d. So there's no wild type, mutant stuff going on here. It's just 2 different alleles, right? And the probability of finding the little d allele, which is the not so smart allele, is 1 in 100. Now I'm not going to read the rest of this because you can read it on your own. But all that matters is that over here you have 2 genes. And if you're not so smart, so if you have the not so smart gene right here, and if you have the loose-lipped allele, which is right here, right, the little l, you're completely screwed over, right? And it's saying that if you have 10 tight-lipped alleles turning into loose-lipped alleles every single day, right? And same thing with a not so smart replacing 3 smart alleles every single day. And you have 30 days that pass. What is the probability that you're going to have a group chat that's going to have a bunch of loose-lipped and not so smart people? Let's look at it, right? You have 300 college students, right? 300 times 2 alleles per person. That's about 600 alleles right here. Give me a second. 600 alleles in a population. And it says that one of every 50 in a starting population is not tight-lipped, I'm stupid, loose-lipped, right? So that's about 12 alleles if I'm not wrong, right? So 0.02 times 600, yeah, 12 alleles. And every day that passes by, you get 10 tight-lipped alleles switching into loose-lipped, right? So we're going to do our calculations over here. We got 30 days times 10. That's 300 alleles. So 300 out of our 600, and it turned into loose-lipped. So now we have 312 alleles that are loose-lipped. 312, right? So it's about 1/2 is loose-lipped. And if you say that 3 replace our whatchamacallit, it's not so smart replacing a smart, what do we have here? 600 alleles, and we have 1 out of 10, so we have 60 initially as not so smart. And we get 3 every day, and 30 days passes by, that's 90 alleles. Now we have 150. 150 out of 600, that's 1/4. So now we have 1/4 that are not so smart and loose-lipped. Multiply those together because they happen together, independent events. You get 1/8, right? And 1/8 out of 300 people, or these is 37.5. I think I did that calculation correct. I don't even know. I don't care anymore, right? 37.5 out of the 600, or out of the entire population, right? Is probably both loose-lipped and not so smart. And what happens when you have both of those? Classified information, if you read the document right here that I gave, that I'm not going to read myself, classified information is spilled. And so your best bet is to leave the group chat. Now, how can you prevent something like this from happening in the future, right? You don't want this to always happen. Well, that's not possible because, like I said, for every day that passes, 10 tight-lipped alleles switch into loose-lipped. And it's just a mutation that will happen over time as a group chat is more comfortable. Your best bet is to always keep a group chat up to 2 or 3 people, right? And that way, you don't have the mutation occurring due to this overly large size.